two, three. Thank God it's Friday, y'all. Thank God it's Friday. What's up, Yonkers? It's Anderson Sr., founder of Inside Yonkers and host of City Talk. Today I have Jessica Jenkins, writer. Um, Jessica, how are you tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
All right, so I I'm all right, doing good. It's Friday, thank God. Get some rest over the weekend now. So today I wanted to get you on the show so we could talk a little bit about autism and as well as your new book release. So not for a lot of people that don't know, there's a ton of people that deal with autism in Yonkers and all over the world, and not a lot of people have information about this, and for a lot of people that don't know what autism is, autism spectrum disorder, also known as ASD, um, is a developmental disability caused by differences in the brain. That's right, Jessica.
Correct.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what causes autism, how it's brought on to it was brought on to you and others and whatnot?
So there's a lot of controversy when it comes to autism. Um, People may argue that it's caused by vaccines, it's caused by Tylenol. I personally don't believe that. I feel like it's 100% genetic. At least in my case, it was genetic.
So it's commonly commonly generic, right?
Yes,
So I think it was excuse me, 2 and 44 children are genetically born with it.
that sounds about right. It might even be more than that.
Okay, okay. So you just recently finished writing a book, right? And that book was behind that mask. I'm autistic, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about the book and what's in the book and you know a little more information on it?
So that book tells my story from childhood and what it was like growing up, um, with the diagnosis of autism, what it was like to be autistic, and what it was like not having services growing up, and how I really struggled as a child. And it talks about my transition into adulthood and how I manage myself now as an adult. And it also talks about my story as a ABA abuse survivor. For those of you who don't know, ABA is applied behavior analysis. It's a therapy that's mainly for autistic children, and back then it was not the best therapy. So I go ahead and tell my story in that book.
And this isn't your first book, right?
No,
What number book is this?
number 6.
Number 6. And we could find the book on Amazon, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit how you are able to cope with autism and the outside world, especially nowadays that things have gotten a lot more tense and a lot more crazier out in the outside world. How have you been able to manage with that and dealing with that, and your family?
So as an adult now, I dedicated the rest of my life to accommodating myself and giving myself the tools that I didn't have as a child to thrive and survive. Um, I started collecting a bunch of sensory toys. It's supposed to help with things like sensory regulation, and I also need to do occupational therapy, which I can't do unfortunately because insurance won't cover, but my sensory toys helps with that. It's very therapeutic. It's good for sensory regulation, emotional regulation. I have special interests that help me stay um, calm. My special interest is art and writing. I love art. I have to do art all the time, and writing is just my way of expressing myself when I'm unable to express myself verbally. I am a hybrid mouth speaker, meaning there's times where my brain shuts down and I'm nonverbal and I cannot